Let us come and listen to the preacher. Let it be with joy. Let it be with joy. Let it be.
Hi, my name's Joel, coming to you from sunny Melbourne. I'm talking today about our priorities and about what our priorities are. And it's likely, with everything that's going on at the moment, that we've had a bit of a change in our priorities. Maybe we're spending more time with our families. Maybe you've decided that you want to become an artisan sourdough bread baker. Maybe that's your thing. Or maybe it's your relationship with God. Maybe that's changed. All of these natural circumstances, we're subject to all of them, but it's important for us to remember that our relationship with God should be independent of all of these circumstances. The important thing when it comes to our priorities and prioritizing, our relationship with God as number one, the important thing is why. Why is that your number one priority? Why is it important? Because, if that's driven by things that are natural, at the moment, we're all facing difficulty, whether it's a pandemic, economic, blah, blah, blah. We're all facing these difficult circumstances. And if that's what's driving your relationship with God, to be a higher priority at the moment, it's reasonable to think that when those things subside, or if they don't subside, we just kind of become accustomed to them, that at that point in time, our relationship with God will not be as high a priority as it was, because it was driven by some natural circumstance. There's an interesting thing at the moment. Despite all the difficulty and the economic sort of uncertainty, there are areas that are booming, from a business point of view, and one of those ones is DIY home renovations and the DIY retailers and things like that. And one of the reasons for that is, probably the primary reason, if I had to guess, is that people are spending more time at home. And so they're spending more time looking at all of the problems, all of the things that are wrong, all the things they haven't got around to yet. And so you get this sort of interesting thing where, something that wasn't a priority before, whether that was fixing up your garden or, painting a wall or this or that, suddenly it becomes a priority because you're spending time there. And that's an interesting sort of parable for us, I guess, in terms of our relationship with God, is when we spend more time on our relationship with God, when we're praying in the Spirit, when we're communicating, we are prioritizing that, but we're more likely to be fixing the things that need to get fixed and working on the areas that we need to work on, because we're spending that time. Okay? There's an interesting parable. Jesus said, just to finish up, there's the man who found a treasure in a field. And when he found the treasure in the field, he instantly recognized the value. He instantly knew that this was a treasure worth keeping. And it actually says that he sold everything he had to buy the treasure. He sold everything that he had. He said that was his number one priority. And he bought the field and he hid the treasure because he understood why. The why for us, when we make God the number one priority in our life, the why ought to be the constants, the things that don't change. For example, the fact that God chose you to be part of his family. That's a constant. That doesn't change. That's irrespective of natural circumstances, of good or bad, of things like that. That's always the truth. And if those types of reasons are our why, then God will always be our priority. Amen.